Good evening and welcome to Mr. Wilson Live. I do apologize for being late. As I promised, I would have had class, so I'm back to have class. I had to rush on the road, so I'm back here with you. Is everybody all right? How are we doing? Tell me in the chat. And I said hi just now. Hey, great. So we're here. All right, wonderful. There are some persons who are here like for ages. I'm probably out for an hour based on what I'm seeing on the phone. But things seem to be freezing around here. What's happening? Oh my. We've got a frozen system. No. All right, I don't know what happened just now, but the system just froze. I wanted to look at the persons who were here. So Gregory was here. Not too sure if the person is still here. You can say if you are. Macmillan, Barnett, Campbell, Francis, Palmer, Anderson, Stewart, Smith, Cheryl, Treasure, Macmillan, De Sousa, Moore, De Sousa again, Macmillan, Jawawan, Francis Macmillan, Smith, Zari, and Audrey. These persons are here. The persons who left, I'm very, very sorry, but if you watch my earlier post, then you'd see that I'll be running out on the road and I am back. Now, this evening, what we really want to do, we want to look at the final part of drugs. A part of that, we did it already, but we're going to be looking at it again. And then we're going to be looking at sexually transmitted disease, which you are going to assist me in teaching this content. Usually it is a presentation, and I'm trying to use this mixed method to present myself online or present the content online, where sometimes it's a lecture, informal lecture. Sometimes you're going to be doing some very small presentation so that we can have this inclusiveness. I want to show you a fruit. It's one of my dear Jamaican fruit. It is not known by a lot of Jamaican, and I don't know if it is known across the Caribbean. But if it is, you can tell me. I'm going to show you the fruit. This is the fruit. Have you ever seen this fruit? It grows at very high elevation. Tell me what it is in the chat. What it is. Tell me in the chat what it is. That's what we're going to start with. I'm going to be here for the time that is usually. What is the name of the fruit? And tell me where you are from. Mamasipo. Mamasipo. Right, so as you tell me the name of a fruit, tell me where are you from? Mommy, apple. Where are you from? I want to know where you're from. I want to know the name that you use in your local. Oh, from Guyana. So James, you are from Guyana. Do you know the fruit? All right, I'll hold it there. Do you know the fruit? What is the name of the fruit? All right, welcome my Guyanese friend. Okay, Guyana does have this fruit. All right. No, it is not a custard apple. Oh no, it's not a custard apple. I know the custard apple. We have that. This is not a custard apple. No, not a custard apple. Try again. All right, when you're answering, just say like Jamaica, custard apple, or Jamaica, Nesberry, whatever you think it is. Just say your country or your island, and then you say what's the name of the fruit. So look at the fruit here. We want to identify this fruit. And I'm going to even show you how the fruit is, how we eat the fruit. I'm going to show you how to remove the epicarp. So the biology student must know what is epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp, that type of thing. So let me see. It looks like a grown provision, sir, instead of a fruit. No, it comes from a tree, come attached to a tree fall. The thing about this fruit, you do not, and I don't do that. All right. You do not pick this fruit from the tree. No, you can't. You can only harvest this fruit when it falls to the ground. All right. That's how this fruit is harvested in Jamaica, at least. So, grown provision. James, Marmy, James, you are from Guyana, right? That's what you said. Jawawan say it's called Mamasipo in Trinidad. All right. Somebody said custard apple. No, it's not custard apple. It is, of course, mommy. It does not drop and it's orange inside. So how do you harvest it in St. Vincent or Trinidad, whichever one you harvest it? Jawawan, how do you harvest this fruit? You pick it from the tree? No, it's not panganat. No, panganat looks nothing like this. So it means that I have to carry some fruit here to show you guys. No, this is not panganat. No, this is not what we call panganat in Jamaica. All right, this is mommy. And I'm going to show you just a bit. Before we get into the show, just let's have a little chat. All right, great. So a lot of person seems not to know this fruit. Sir, I am trying to remember. No, you can't bite this fruit like a gooseberry. No, and it's very hard, but it is ready. Jawawan, tell me how you harvest the fruit. So we usually pick this up under the tree. It's like a fig tree, so it's very hard. Inside is, of course, orange. You can't peel it like an orange. That's not how it is done. What you do, you are going to peg it somewhat. So I use and I carve in it like this. And then I'm going to carve in it again like this. It's one of these rare Jamaican fruit. A lot of persons don't know it because it grows at very high elevation. And persons seeing this might not even want to try it. But I usually ask everybody that I know when it's in season, it's like my gift. I show it to everyone and give it to everyone. It is not star apple. So I need to get a star apple, I need to get a custard apple, and I need to get a panganat because you guys don't know panganat, you don't know star apple. It's a mommy. So here, you see the carve. See, we all carve it all around. See there? How it look? What is it called? Mommy support. I think we call it in St. Vincent. So in St. Vincent, it has one name, and in Trinidad, there's another name, and in Jamaica, there is another name. Very good. Just keep coming with the name. I'm going to tell you where I'm going with that. Now, if you look at the knife, look at the blade, you'll see the stain, somewhat orange stain. So that just tells you that you really can't just bite into it. Then what we do, we just peel it off like this. Peel it off like this. It's fleshy inside. Peel it off like that. And it has a little scent. I don't know if you like it. And then in some cases, it might have one seed or more than one seed. But it is pretty, don't you think? So it looks like a mango on the inside, and on the outside, it looks like a nestberry. But if you look at the epicarp here, you realize that it is very, very thick. Now, if you also observe, I could just cut into it, forgive me, and the seed looks something like that. It's a brown seed, it's usually big, and it's fleshy and nice here. I really like the fruit. So let me hear what you call it in your little area there. Just it tastes good with salt and pepper. All right. You heard that, Shirley? Jawawan, who is sometime in St. Vincent and sometime in Trinidad, she's saying, trust it. It tastes really good with salt and pepper. And I want to join in the show. All right, guys who are just joining us, remember to like, share, and subscribe. It is a real class, so we don't just up on and just start talking about science. And I say hi. All right. Yes, they are seeing you. Yeah, they are seeing you. All right. So great, guys. So what can we learn from the lesson now with mommy? Sit for me. So it's called mommy apple, or we call it just mommy. If you're in Jamaica, if you go rural like St. Thomas or St. Mary, Portland, you might be able to get this fruit. I hope that you guys know cashew because I'll have to get you a cashew as well to show you what the cashew looks like. All right, so that out of the way. I don't know if you have ever heard CXC, like when we are doing sampling in ecology, you are not really required to name the plant. You could say plant A, plant B, plant C. And one of the reasons for that is that the common name for plants and animals will change as you move from region to region. So here in Jamaica, we call this fruit here mommy, and you're seeing Jawawan having a name for it in Trinidad, and you're seeing my other friend there having another name for it in St. Vincent, And the Guyanese, they wouldn't have this fruit. So what we tend to use to classify organism or the name, we use what is called a scientific name or the botanical name. So if we think about, let me see if I can remember. I was really good at botanical name, but not using them, you sort of lose them. So I could think about capsicum annum, that is hot pepper. We could think about capsicum fruit scent, that is sweet pepper. We could talk about Musa sapienta. I could go on and on. Anyway, that is not the class today. Just remember that this is a nice fruit. I like it. I hope that you like it. I just bought it on my way back in, and I'm going to have it. I'm going to try it with salt and pepper, as Jawawan said. Okay, great. So we're going to be looking at drugs this evening. And being that everybody is here, and I use some of my time in the class to deal with the mommy, now I'm going to give you your activity for the class, because it's not going to be all about me. I'm going to give you your activity. You will have to multitask, and then I'll be teaching drugs. We're going to be looking at alcohol, and we're going to be looking at cigarette. So let me just start with, I'm looking here. I'm going to start with, let me give me some. If you are new, put up your hand. This is your induction ceremony. If you are new, put up your hand. Are you new? Just say, I am new. Come on, don't be shy now. If you are new, put your hands up. Okay, I will nominate persons. All right, you will never walk alone. I am just fascinated with that name. You will never walk alone. Oh, I am new. Great. So we have some brave persons here. Good. But I'm still going to start with you'll never walk alone. I want you to present on gonorrhea. I will tell you when you are going to present. You are going to tell us the causative agent, and everybody could write down what is it that we want to know. We want to know causative agent 1. We want to know how the disease is acquired, right? We also want to know the signs and symptoms of the disease, signs and or symptom of the disease. And we also want to know how we can cure, treat, or control the disease. So we want to know how we can treat, control, or cure the disease. So somebody could just type it in the chat, all that we are going to need around sexually transmitted disease. All right, type it in the chat and I'll repeat. We're going to be having an interactive session today. Remember, nobody can be wrong. We're all going to help you if you fall short, so no need to worry. Now, I'm going to, oh, you were saying hi to Anai. Anai, somebody say, hi, baby. All right, I am new, great. Gregory, I have something for you. I'm just going to give you something very, very simple. I want you to tell me, what is it that we refer to as venereal disease? Explain to us what's venereal disease, and we are going to come back to you. Now, Jawawan, you are going to write down the names of the persons who are presenting and what they are presenting on. So when I come to Jawawan, you are going to tell me who is supposed to present and what they are going to present on. So we did YNWA, which means that you will never walk alone. The Savior is always with you. And then Gregory is going to tell us about venereal disease. What is venereal disease when we talk about sexually transmitted disease? How does the venereal disease come in versus the sexually transmitted disease? We want to know that from Gregory, and Gregory is going to do a great job for us. I am new. It's my first time here. Make sure that you subscribe and click that notification bell and select all so that you'll be notified every time that we have a session. We're going to be having a lot of short sessions leading up to exams. All right, so I want Melbourne, who is new. You're going to be looking at syphilis. You're going to be looking at syphilis. And let me see if anybody took on the role of typing the things that you're supposed to do. You're going to tell us the causative agent of syphilis. Yes, Jawan, you call my name. All right. Oh, you want me to repeat? I had asked YNWA to do a research for us on gonorrhea. She's going to present for us the causative agent of gonorrhea. She's going to tell us how is it transmitted. She's going to tell us how can it be treated, cure, or control. What am I missing out? Cure, treated, and she's going to give us the signs and or symptoms. All right, so we want all of that. And remember that gonorrhea is a zoonosis. What it means, it can move from animal to man to animal, that type of a thing. All right, and then Gregory is going to tell us about venereal disease versus sexually transmitted disease. And then we move on down to Melbourne, I think the name was. Melbourne is going to new recruits, so we're very happy that this person is here and she's going to share the knowledge with us. Remember, you can go to Google to find your information. She's going to tell us about syphilis and the same thing that we're looking for, cause, blah, 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 I just said. All right, so then we are going to now look at, let me see now. I am new Williams. I'm going to see all of you new guys subscribing this evening. Alicia Williams, welcome to Jamaica. Welcome to the show. You are going to be looking at non-venereal disease. All right. And the non-venereal disease that I want you to look at is cystics. All right. Non-venereal sexually transmitted disease. No. Cystics. That's what you're going to look at. All right. So after Alicia, I want, oh, okay, Gregory got his already. Grant, Chevanese Grant, you are going to do the same thing. You are going to tell us about herpes. You are going to tell us about herpes. Please don't let us down. These are non-venereal sexually transmitted disease. And you know what you're going to do. Same thing, cause, blah, blah, blah. We said it already. All right, great. Now, what I want, let me see now. Is Tanisha in the room? Tanisha, if you are here, just say hi. Of course, I have some activity for you. Don't post as yet. Guys, wait until I tell you to post. Don't post as yet. All right, because we want to have a discourse around what you post. So don't post as yet. All right. Tanisha not here? All right, I'm going to show it on DeSosa. DeSosa, I want you to tell me the effect of sexually transmitted disease, venereal disease, whichever, the effect that it has on a mother and the fetus. So DeSouza, you are going to tell me about the effect that STIs have on mothers and fetus. And remember that Jawawan is writing them down, so I won't forget. All right? Then I want somebody else. I want the new persons. I want a new person. I really want to work with some new people today. SD. I don't know who is SD, but I'm seeing SD for the first time. Welcome to the show. SD. To whomever much is given, much is expected. AIDS is always on the exam, and we're going to give you AIDS to do. It's a big thing. I hope your teacher did give it to you, but it's going to be cooperative learning here. I'm going to also ask Clement to partner with SD in presenting on AIDS and HIV. I want you to present on AIDS and HIV, and this is really a big thing. Then let me tell you what I want you to do for me, Clement. Clement, I want you to tell me about the significance of AIDS to the region. I will talk about significance. It's not necessarily about good or bad. It could be, it's like we're talking about the impact. So why is it that we need to know? I'm sorry, that's a bike passing by. Why is it that we need to know or understand AIDS? All right. So we spoke about gonorrhea, we spoke about syphilis, we spoke about cystics, we spoke about herpes, AIDS, and then now we come on down. Let me see who I want to give this to. Hi, Drummond. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. I want you to tell me about hepatitis A, type A. Drummond, tell me about hepatitis type A. I remember you can always pull this information from Google. Peter Gay Campbell, I want you to tell me about hepatitis B. Peter Gay Campbell, You're going to be telling me about hepatitis B. And then let me see, who do I have here? Good night, everyone. What's that? Sharda. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that good. Sharda, I want you to tell me about hepatitis C. Welcome to the show, new members of the family. Before I start the show, just let me tell you what we have for you. We have over 230 something videos on the channel. To access those videos, there's a blue icon, I think, down there that says CSET Biology TCP. If you click on that icon, it takes you to the back end of my channel, and you can find labs, you can find lab report, mark scheme, notes, experiment, you name it, it's all there. You can also find past papers, biology and human and social biology, to include paper 1, paper 2. You can always send us past papers, and based on how we have the time, the availability of the time, we will answer that. At the end of most of our videos, there are 4 videos at the end of the screen. You can click on those and you will be treated to further nice content. There's also this white circle at the top somewhere over here. This white circle at the top with an inverted exclamation sign. It gives you suggested video. Just below down there, you'll see that red mark, this red thing that says subscribe. Click on that button, and then you are going to click on the bell and select all. With that said, we are ready for the show. Let's go. Good evening, all. We're looking at the effect of alcohol. Now, this is going to be a very interactive part of the show. The first thing I want us to do, give me some reasons why persons resort to alcohol. Give me some reasons why persons resort to alcohol. Why is it that persons would want to even start taking alcohol? So 1, Melbourne is out of the block early. Stress. Yes, that is true. I'm feeling a little stressed, overwhelmed because of the bill, because persons at work, because of the children. I am just overwhelmed. So, of course, stress could be a reason for persons taking alcohol, which is, of course, a drugs. And this is true for any drugs. Persons resort to alcohol because of stress, financial problem. Because persons are having financial problem, they tend to take drugs or to consume alcohol. To destroy fear, persons are fearful. I'm having an exam. I have to go somewhere. I am just not, I really don't have that confidence. So, of course, I resort to drugs, alcohol, or otherwise because of that fear. Now, also, they might have some family issues, some family problem. They might be, yes, and they know. All right, great. All right, they might, yes, they know. All right, so they might even, and allow me to, please. Great. All right. So pressure, peer pressure. Tell you what, I'm saying, you know that if you drink this, it really tastes good. Have you ever had this? So peer pressure will also cause persons to take drugs, be it alcohol or whatever it is. You are with persons will take drugs for pleasure. Hey, we're having a party. You need to drink something, man. You just stiff so. Your pastor, you need to drink something, man. It won't kill you. Just take a 1 drink, man. So peer pressure. Persons take drugs for fun. Hey, after the exam, hey, have some fun, man. Just take a little bit of this. It won't kill you. You'll feel really, really nice. These are some of the reasons for us taking drugs. And having taken these drugs and having gotten that feel-good effect, then you know with 1 being good, 2 will definitely be better. And that is where we start with the addiction. Great. So we're going to be looking at alcohol as a drug and its effect on the body. Persons might take drugs to enhance the physical ability, as persons would have been taking steroids to help deal with loss of family member, the stress. I'm very sorry, guys. Those persons would have been affected severely by COVID. Yes, person take drugs, alcohol for all that. Are you going to be a good boy or not? You're going to be a good boy. All right, great. All right, so let's start with alcohol. And the first thing we are going to know about alcohol. While we eat and drink and all that bit goes down to the small intestine, the villus, all that area there of the digestive system to be absorbed. When we consume alcohol, the absorption begins where? Can anybody tell me? The absorption of alcohol. Where does it begin? All right, so we got some alcohol just now. Where this absorption starts. Okay, people take drugs for pain management. No. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So the absorption of alcohol begins in the stomach. And that is why alcohol can have such rapid effect when we consume alcohol. Because once it gets to the stomach, it starts getting into the bloodstream and then it starts to cause its myriad of issues. While when we drink something else, or if we had something else, it would have gone a bit further before getting into the bloodstream. Now, one other thing with alcohol, it being absorbed in the stomach causes some problem. Now, in the stomach, when we absorb that, when we get that alcohol, it's usually alcohol is an acid. Alcohols, they are really acids. If you didn't know, yeah, whatever beer you're drinking is acidic. So it's in most cases organic acid. So when you drink that acidic compound, what will happen is that it will damage the stomach. And the damage that it causes to the stomach might cause the stomach, that's a taxi, I'm sorry, might cause the stomach to start bleeding later. Another thing about alcohol is that when we take in alcohol or when we consume alcohol, it slows down the transfer of what we want to call nervous signals. Now, if these nervous signals are slowed or retarded, what you're going to find happening is that your coordinating effect will not be as norm. Another thing about the alcohol, so we are saying a lot of things about alcohol. Another thing about alcohol is that alcohol will cause the capillary, which are blood vessels, to dilate. Now, as these dilate and they become larger, more blood is passing through. Now, with the increase in the volume of blood moving, what is going to happen is that the body is going to start increase in temperature. So what you'll find is that you drink, and after you have had some alcohol, you're going to find that the body temperature would have gone up, and you're, wow, I feel really, really hot. I wonder what is happening, right? And this is as a result of the capillary, the blood vessels dilating, meaning get larger, and as such, more blood is passing through. Now, alcohol, they are what we refer to as diuretic. So when you consume alcohol, what is naturally going to happen is that you're going to start passing more urine. Everybody can relate to that. Now, if you're passing more urine, then it is only natural. It is only natural that you are going to become thirsty very quickly. Now, once you consume alcohol to the level where it becomes a problem, you become a more inefficient individual. You become way more inefficient. You just can't, remember we said earlier that the coordinating responses would have been slowed down as a result of the alcohol. So because that is slowed down, if you are talking to somebody who's really, really intoxicated by alcohol, they are going to have slurred speech. So they might talk, you're not hearing so well. Why you say, you're not hearing so well? Well, you don't hear what you're, that type of thing, right? The coordination is off, right? Another thing is that the alcohol could cause cirrhosis of the liver. When we have cirrhosis of the liver, what does that mean? Is that the liver would have become swollen and there is more fatty tissue. Now, this can, of course, lead to death. Then when you think about alcohol for those party fans, there is the hangover effect, the fatigue. Having had the alcohol, tomorrow you get up, and when you get up tomorrow, things are just not so right. You are, all You are sweating, you're tired, you're hot as a result of what we refer to as the hangover. Then persons who consume alcohol and become addicted to alcohol, they are usually deficient in vitamin, particularly vitamin B1. So the alcohol will, of course, affect your nutrition. No, I haven't done the activities as yet. YNWA. So of course, your nutrition will of course be affected. Your nutrient, the amount of nutrient that you are that is supposed to be available to you, that will also be compromised as a result of alcohol consumption. But there's this fancy word about taking alcohol that we, what should I say, abbreviate to call it DTS. Have you ever heard about DTS? Now, DTS stands for delirium tremen. Delirium men. Delirium tremen. So it's DTS. And the person who is at this stage, what is happening is that they will shake. They will shake and hallucinate. So having had that alcohol and now they are heavily intoxicated, the dog them down so rush. Me no see them, my mother did call to me. All the breadfruit drop off of the tree. Hey boy, leave me alone. And this, they're hallucinating, right? And they are shaking. They really just don't stay balanced. They are not, right? They are just always moving. They really can't. And they're trying to control themselves. And that is as a result, that is what pretty much caused them to be moving, because they really feel like they are out of not balance and feeling that they are a little off. What will happen is that they will try to correct that, and then they feel the same way and they keep moving just to get back that balance. Now, another thing is that we said it earlier, is that there will be mental issues. If you are taking these drugs, this alcohol, yes, alcohol is a drug. It is also acidic, right? This will, of course, cause mental problem. It will cause mental problem. And we did say that you will have a slowed response time. Now, there's usually a graph that looks at response time. So it's usually in second, but when you're driving, a second is like an hour. A second could take away your entire life and the life of many others. 1 second, right? So because the response time is slowed, if a child was supposed to run across the road, your response time would have been slowed. For example, a person who is all healthy and is not under the influence of alcohol, they would have been able to stop this motor vehicle much faster. The person who is under the influence of alcohol or the drugs, their response time will be slowed, and as such, in most cases, it results in an accident. It also affects the liver. Yes, it does. All right. So these are some of the major health effects of alcohol. But alcohol also comes with social effects. Now I'm going to ask you, nicely a while ago, I gave you all A for what you did in the presentation earlier. Now you have the opportunity to score another A. What are some of the social effects of alcohol? We just look at some of the health effects. What are some of the social effects of consuming alcohol? Social effects of consuming alcohol. Just tell me in the chat there. While my friends are putting together their presentation so that we could have it all locked and, of course, sexual transmitted disease and move on. All right, great. So Kevin McKenzie is in the house, and Kevin McKenzie is a Jamaican, and he's saying that it could lead to abuse because you need some money to go and get yourself a drink of rum. and your fiance is saying to you, the picnic them want some food, the kids need something to eat. You can't use this money for rum, and then you know it's my money. I work it. You can't tell me how to spend it. And then that is going to result in abuse. And it's not only child abuse of even the person themselves, the person who's drinking the alcohol, that is abuse. And then Jawawan is saying depression, illness. The person will become sick. Persons in the home, the kids are sensibly, they're pretty much they are aware, they know what is happening, and they will start getting ill because of depression. Something is happening in the home. I am not too sure what is happening, but this is not one of those happy TV moments. This is a sad moment based on what I'm seeing on mom's face and based on the fact that dad is just not coming home at the right time. And when dad gets home, he's just not the normal person that he should be. Crime can't finance that drug appetite that the person has, then the person is going to resort to using things that doesn't belong to them, and then they're going to find themselves into some trouble with the law. Unhappy home, unhappy home. Persons are not going to be happy in the house. The wife, in most cases, it's the man drinking the rum. So those persons who want to say I'm stereotyping, in most cases, it's the man holding the order with the rum, going down the corner shop and drinking. So the women, they are reading magazine and going to church and watching soap opera and calling their friends on the phone to deal with their stress. The man not calling any friend on any phone to deal with the stress. He's dealing with the stress in a rum bottle or something, some alcoholic beverage. All right. Another thing is that it will lead to breakup. No, she can't deal with this. She had planned for this Beverly Hills lifestyle, and here it is that she has this man that seems as if he wants to make her life a living hell. So guess what? I am just going to cut ties and I'm going to go chase my happiness. Then it leads to personal neglect and financial problem as they spend the money on alcohol. And in some cases, they spend the money on alcohol. They don't even come home. They can't deal with the problem, so they don't come home. Now, it can affect personal relationship. And I'm seeing poor performance at work. So Giselle Francis Giselle Francis here came with something. I saw Giselle today. Big up yourself, Giselle. It can affect personal relationship. And of course, it is definitely a highway to poverty. It is definitely a highway to poverty. Natisha Francis is in the house. Loss of jobs. Hey, you're now inefficient at work. You're causing accidents. You are putting yourself at risk. You're walking in front of the forklift. You're walking in front of vehicles coming in. You're falling off places. You're sitting where you should not sit. You're not wearing your protective gears. You are going to be losing your job. Your boss cannot meet his or her deadline as a result of your action. So you're going to lose your job. Domestic violence is here again. Yes, drugs will cause it. Alcohol will also. Alcohol being a drug, of course, is right on the front of the line. SD, start to physically abuse family members. I think it should be. Poor judgment. Poor judgment. Your processing capability is gone. It's lost. You are making irrational decisions as a result of taking the drugs. And we have abuse coming up again. Breakouts because of excessive drinking. I think that breakout means that you're going to be having lesion on the skin, sore we call it. You might have lesion on the skin as a result of the blood now becoming more acidic. That is sort of biological still. But blood becoming more acidic, so you might end up with lesion on the skin and sore and all of that. Another thing is that Jawawan said here, should this be absenteeism from work, and you will of course have car accidents. You will have car accidents because poor judgment. You might be falling asleep. The muscles are not well coordinated. Your response time is slow. So definitely all these would have been possible reasons or possible social effects of alcohol. All right. And if we were supposed to talk about the importance of alcohol, these are some of the things that we are going to look at. We're going to look at the social and we're going to look at the health effects. And we spoke about the health part earlier. Now we are looking at the social effects. Now, unwanted pregnancy. Oh, yes, you have persons going to parties and they become all drunk. I remember, hey, leave it. And you're going to be a good boy, right? Great, great. All right. I'm sorry. Anai is a handful. Handful. Yeah. Anai. Yeah. All right. So, unwanted pregnancy. One might ask, how is this so? You have persons going to parties and they are drinking, and before you know it, they are overly intoxicated because somebody fetched the beverage for them. And then they wake up where they didn't even know, they don't even know when they reach where they reached. And then couple days after, you know what happened, or a couple months after, this person could be living in denial. No, no, no. It's just gas or something. My belly just feel a little bloated the other day. And don't know if it's because of the stress at work or because I'm not eating well. But you know that I miss my as well. It's the stress at work make you miss it, man. Stress at work make you miss it? No. It's the party that you went to consume more alcoholic beverage than you should, and as such, you got more than you wanted. All right. So this alcoholic thing, this drugs thing, can seriously change your life. Now, remember to like, share, and of course, subscribe. If you're new, we're really, really happy that you're here. And we want you to subscribe and hit the notification bell, select all, because from time to time, depending on what I'm presenting, I might change my thumbnail. And I want you to have it all locked. Being here, we have 2 more weeks and we want to put in as much as possible. Make sure that you're doing all that you should. Now, you are going to have limited career opportunities. Definitely. You're going to be having limited career. Forgive me with the noise and I. All right? Great. You're going to be having limited career opportunities because you're inefficient. Hey, your hygiene might be a little off. Yes? The mommy giving you something. Here. All right, great. All right, so your hygiene might be a little off. So that is definitely going to affect what is happening at work. So there we have it for alcohol. It was very, very short, but I do hope that you have garnered as much as you should. Usually it is on this exam somewhere. It is drugs. It's a type of drugs. Sorry. So now we want to move on. If there are no questions re alcohol, we want to move on to, cigarettes. Cigarette, the silent killer. Is it silent? Of course not. On every cigarette box, it is written that cigarette can be dangerous for your health. And despite it is written on the box, despite in most cases persons can see it, they really don't care. What is the cost of what price will persons pay to be happy? What price will persons pay to be comfortable? Cigarette smoking in most cases is pretty much brought on by the same reasons you gave at the start of the show. They'll still purchase the cigarette. Now, cigarette, there are some diseases that are associated with cigarette smoking, and I'm going to be throwing some by you. But before I throw them by you, I want somebody to research for me. Should I see Bud. I'm going to pick on you, Bud. All right. So, Bud, I want you to look for me and post. You can post this before our presentation. I want you to find thrombosis and tell what is thrombosis in the chat. So you could post it there before we get ready. There is another word I wanted you to look at. I am going to ask Stuart to look at arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis. I want you to look for that word. So Bud and Stuart, you have something to present for us, and we will assist you if things are not going well with you. So no worry, no need to worry. All right, great. So I want to start talking about cigarette, and I'm going to start with the disease before we look at the tar and the particulates and look at the nicotine. We want to look a little bit at the diseases. And the first one I want to look at is the chronic bronchitis that is associated with cigarette smoking. Now, cigarette smokers usually find themselves with the predicament of developing bronchitis. Now, when they have bronchitis, these are some of the things that are likely to happen. The lungs, the lungs will become damaged, and it becomes damaged because of increased mucus. Now, with this increased mucus, you understand that the nutrient content is going to be like favorable for bacteria. So with this increased nutrient content, then the likelihood of the cigarette smoker be infected by bacteria is greater. Is greater. So you understand that this person is on the highway to even becoming worse. The mucus will also stop the action of the cilia. You know about the ciliated cell, they are always flickering like that to pretty much move things out of the bronchial tubes. So they are flicking like this, just moving things upward. But because of the mucus, they are all trapped down as if we were supposed to have some tar or some gel on this. They just can't move, right? So when you have bronchitis, that's also happening. You're also going to have narrowing of the breathing tube. And we know we talk about the breathing tube, we are talking about all the tube that goes down to the lungs, there about all those tubes that are associated with what we call the breathing or respiratory system. So these tubes are going to become narrow. Now, if these tubes become smaller, then it is only natural. It is only natural that you are going to have difficulty breathing, you are going to be panting, you are going to become tired easily because you are not getting enough oxygen, and neither are you removing carbon dioxide from the body fast enough. So cigarette smoke, smoking cigarette is responsible for chronic bronchitis. So you don't want to start a cigarette today. I have never done it. I'm not a Christian, but I've never done a lot of things. All right. So my friend Bud would have nicely posted here for us thrombosis. It is the clotting of the blood in parts of the circulatory system. Now, of course, if I'd asked for thrombosis, of course, having asked for thrombosis, dealing with cigarette smoking, then it's only natural you understand that cigarette smoking could also cause, she said it right there, thrombosis, right? So you need to know what is thrombosis that you can argue well when you have to discuss anything around the effects of cigarette smoking. So one of the first effects we looked at was chronic bronchitis. Now the lesson today is important for both bio and HSB students. Oh yes. We're going to look now at emphysema. Emphysema. And when a person is affected by emphysema, the first thing we can think about happening is that the alveoli, they will become damaged. Now, if the alveoli become damaged, and these are the gaseous exchange area, and they are in large number, what is going to happen, this large surface area that we had for gaseous exchange will be reduced. And this is reduced as a result of emphysema. So we have reduced respiratory surface. And another thing that will happen is that the lungs will lose its elasticity. So instead of it being able to expand and contract readily, it won't happen as easily for a person who is suffering from emphysema. Another thing is that this person will have short of breath. right? And the person might breathe, and when they breathe, there's some amount of wheezing. There is some amount of wheezing. Now, this class is a practical class. Is there anybody here that suffers from bronchitis? You might not be a smoker, but you have bronchitis. What are some of the signs and symptoms? Tell us how it affects you. How are you affected by bronchitis? Or if you know someone, you can share that with us in the chat. All right, until we have somebody to share, we want to also remind you that smoking cigarette comes with what we refer to as carcinogenic impact or effects that mean that it is cancer causing. Smoking cigarette could lead to cancer. All right, so that is like the big one that is like self-explanatory. If you smoke cigarette, you might end up having cancer. There are many videos on YouTube that could show that to you. Now we want to look at this big one that is a little more tricky. Most persons are not looking at this. Most persons look only at the respiratory issues and the carcinogenic effect, but not many persons are looking at the cardiovascular problems that are associated with smoking cigarette. I know someone, but someone has it, and she suffers from short of breath and wheezing. So when you go to the exam, don't forget this real story. All right? That was the reason for me asking you to explain, or if you know somebody, because usually we go to the exam and we think that if we didn't read it in the book, it can't be written on the paper. It's the experience of that person that is actually captured in the book. All right? Here we go again. Jawawan, sir, could you get all these health risks from secondhand smoking? Of course, of course, of course. And when I look at the components of a cigarette, I will explain further. Or I could even tell you a little bit, no, I'm not going to use cigarette, I'm going to use something else. All right, so let me see what Felix is saying. Symptoms of bronchitis are you will have some sore throat. You will have you're going to have that headache because that tension to breathe will cause the headache. Fatigue, you're having difficulty breathing. The air is just not moving like it should. So you're going to have that fatigue. Soreness, yes, that is also associated with you not being able to breathe. You will cough as a result of that increased mucus. That increased mucus, you really need to keep coughing to clear out to get rid of that mucus. And you might, of course, expel mucus when you cough. It might or it might not happen. That is very, very good, Felix. Thank you very much. So great. Just before I move into the cardiovascular issue that are associated with cigarette smoking, just let me say this bit. Our answer to Jawawan. Irritation. It's an uncomfortable feeling. I don't know if I would call it irritation. It's this feeling of, and everyone would have that when you have a sore throat or you have some throat infection. That thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's called irritation or it's just uncomfortable. I don't know. Probably it's irritation. If you were supposed to light a lamp, or you could light a cigarette, and you were supposed to get a white cloth and hold it above where that smoke is coming off, what you'll find is that the cloth will change color to yellow or black, depending on how close and how much smoke is getting on that cloth. Because what is happening is that you will, or you should know, I don't know if you know, that smoke is actually a solid. Smoke is actually a solid. Smoke is considered for the chemistry student a colloid. Just like toothpaste or paint, it's a colloid. All right? And a colloid is pretty much a suspension. So those solid particles, if you were supposed to be that second-hand smoker, of course you could be picking up these particles and you could be very well on your way for emphysema. All right? We're going to talk more about that as we get deeper into the lesson. So cardiovascular issues are associated with cigarette smoking. Why? Because in the cigarette, you have this component that is responsible for the addiction. What part of the cigarette causes you to be addicted to the cigarette? Tell me in the chat very quickly. And let's talk, because you have to build this cardiovascular thing that you understand well. All right? What part of the cigarette? You want multiple choice? I'll give you multiple choice. Is it the tar? Is it the carbon monoxide? Is it the nicotine? Is it the particulate? Which is responsible for you becoming addicted to the cigarette? Yes, it will affect you. It could be an allergic response, or it could be that you have some mild form of these respiratory ailment. Yes, you could. All right. Yes, everybody is giving the right answer. And now that we have given that answer, I hope that everybody who is watching, don't go and read any book after today. If you are asked what is responsible for you becoming addicted to cigarette, it is always going to be nicotine, be it on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or a sunny or rainy day. It is always going to be nicotine that is responsible for you being addicted to the cigarette. But look at what nicotine does. Nicotine will influence the secretion of adrenaline. Remember, adrenaline is this fight or flight hormone. The nicotine will also cause an increase in the heart rate, which is associated with the adrenaline. So the heart is now going much faster. So if the heart is going much faster, then naturally the blood is going to be moving faster. Now, while the blood is moving faster, this is where the problem comes in. The size of the blood vessel reduces. So if the size of the blood vessel is now reduced and the heart is pushing blood faster, then it's only natural that one of these blood vessels will rupture anytime soon. Now, because the vessel has been reduced, the blood is now naturally under higher pressure. It is this higher pressure that will cause the blood vessels to rupture. It is also true that more fatty acid will be in the blood. And this is where now we talk about thrombosis. This is now where we talk about thrombosis, where we are going to be having some clots being formed in the blood. We must also be cognizant of the fact that with all this activity with the blood and the adrenaline and the nicotine, there's a likelihood of the person suffering from arteriosclerosis. Did we write that in the chat? And arteriosclerosis, we are now looking at the reduced size of the blood vessel. I did ask somebody to research that for me. I'm not too sure if they did that. Now, with thrombosis, there is something else for us to pay attention to. If we have these clots in the blood vessel, what it will do, it will stop or reduce the passage of oxygen to the heart. When this happens, then you understand that oxygen is needed for respiration. Now, if there's no food or no energy, no oxygen, then we are going to have cells dying. And if cells start to die without the problem being corrected, then it's only natural that in short order, this person will also die. So by smoking cigarette, there's a great possibility that you could rupture a blood vessel, there's a great possibility that you could die. A lot said there on these diseases that are associated with smoking cigarette. Let's look at the components of the cigarette. I don't know if you want to join in now because you've been quite a little while now. The cigarette has one component we call tar. Oh my. The cigarette has one component we call tar. What's the effect of tar on your respiratory system? Why is it that we need to be concerned about tar? Is there any reason we should be concerned? The tar? Any reason? Tell me in the chat. Can you think of any reason why we should be concerned about the tar that is associated with cigarette smoking? Tell me in the chat. So we know about nicotine already. We know that nicotine is responsible for that addiction. All right, 2 persons. They are saying cancer. It could cause cancer of the lungs and the mouth. Is there anything else that we need to be concerned about as it relates to tar? Specifically lung cancer, because it sticks to the lungs. Sims is a Jamaican. Melbourne, not sure, but if the substance that block the lungs, all right, so we will help you, Melbourne, not a problem. We will treat with that. All right, so it is true that it will cause lung cancer and it will cause, of course, cancer of the mouth, but it's also true that the tar could also cause the ciliated cells to stick together. Those here there, flickering, the cilia we call it, it could cause those not to work like they should, right? And of course, that could also cause a buildup of mucus, or the cigarette smoker keep going clearing the throat. The tar is, of course, responsible for that. Very good. I think that was a very good attempt. Now, another thing we want to look at. So always remember that the tar from the cigarette smoke, it will definitely cause cancer to the mouth and lungs, and it will also cause some problem for the cilia to flicker like they should. Now, this is another big one, and this one you need to remember for both cigarette smoking and pollution, be that you're a bio student or a HSB student. Carbon monoxide. It is actually CO, right? So we have carbon dioxide as CO2, but we're now talking about carbon monoxide, CO, which is a colorless, odorless, tasteless gas, which is responsible for the death of many persons when we have a power cut. All right? So what I want you to do now, tell me, why is it that we should be concerned about carbon monoxide? Don't just tell me that because it will kill you. All right? What is it about carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide that causes it to be so dangerous? All right, my friend, I will catch you later. And of course, the video will be online. You could catch the rest of the class. And you will do your present. You were supposed to present on gonorrhea. Is it that you want to present before you go? Do you want to present before you leave? Why NWA? Would you like to present before you leave? All right, great. All right, great. So I am going to pause at the answer is here for carbon monoxide. So I could just pause at carbon monoxide and allow you to present. So Jawawan says that it combines with the blood hemoglobin. All right, hemoglobin. Carbon monoxide combines with hemoglobin more readily than would oxygen, more readily than oxygen would combine with hemoglobin. So what you're going to find happening is that the body will have less oxygen or no oxygen to function because it is pretty much the carbon monoxide is pretty much affixing itself really quickly to the hemoglobin, and the body really can't get that oxygen. All right, combines with blood. Can't just say combine with blood. You must always say it combines with hemoglobin more readily or faster, quicker than oxygen, thus reducing the oxygen carrying capacity of the hemoglobin. All right, it sticks to the oxygen, it sucks the oxygen out of the air. I've never seen that one being used. Preventing the movement of muscles up from the lungs. All right, I'm going to just keep that here. The answer that I'm looking for is more with Jawa one. That is the better one, the one that we use for both pollution and the one that we use here. So I'm going to now take NYAA answer on gonorrhea. So guys, just easier posting and allow her to post while we will quiz her a little bit and not kill her. I'll assist her. I'll go. So go right ahead, NYAA, with your presentation. Yes, whether you smoke 1 day, 2 day, or whatever, the problems will be a little more severe with those persons who smoke more often. But occasional smoking might be too much smoking for some persons. All right. So gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted disease caused by infection with the Neisseria gonorrhea bacterium. It's caused by, all right? So it's caused by the gonorrhea bacterium. All right? Usually we just say gonorrhea bacterium. It tends to target warm, moist area of the body. Hold on. Warm, moist area. Okay, let me see where you go with this. All right, so all you need to do is just cut it up and present it. Just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. All right, so we know that it is caused by the bacteria. We know the name of the bacteria. All right. Gonorrhea passes from one person to another person through sex without a condom or barrier method. The best protection against transmission are abstinence and proper barrier method. And the proper barrier method here is the use of a condom. I am a little uneasy with it tends to target warm, moist area of the body. I think I need to ask you something more about that. Now, symptoms of gonorrhea in men. Symptoms of gonorrhea in men. Greater frequency of or urgency of urination, swelling and redness at the opening of the penis, swelling or pain in the testicle, symptoms of, oh, you said symptom, but you're telling me about swelling. A swelling is a sign. A swelling is a sign. I am very deliberate when I ask you these words. They are not supposed to be used interchangeably. A sign refers to those things that you can see or detect. So fever, you can detect a fever by using a thermometer. A symptom, this is communicated to you by the person who is affected. Things like I'm feeling dizzy, I am having a headache, that type of a thing, those are symptoms. All right, so guys, make sure that you can pull the difference here. Now, symptoms of gonorrhea in women. Are you finished with men? No, I don't think you're finished. There's some important information that is missing. Symptoms of gonorrhea in men. Pain in women, pain or burning sensation while urination, urge to urinate more frequently, heavier menstruation. Gonorrhea is usually treated with antibiotic injection. All right. A lot of things coming here that I like, but I need to talk about some more that is not here. Just before I read the post that you have here, let me just remind you that gonorrhea tend to come with a pussy discharge. It tend to come with a pussy discharge, and gonorrhea can be contracted outside of a sexual intercourse. You could have gonorrhea in your throat. Yes. Yes. All right. Remember that it's pretty much passed on by bacteria. So pretty much you know that you can contract it. Now I see with moist areas. All right. So here we go on down. The particular injection that controls gonorrhea is penicillin. And you know that penicillin is pretty much an antibiotic that is made from a fungus. All right. Now remember that we use a antibiotic to guard against bacteria and nothing else. So if it's not a bacterial infection, do not use a antibiotic. Let me see this here now. The safest way to prevent gonorrhea or other STI is through abstinence. If you do engage in sexual activity, always use a condom or other barrier method. Or be open with your sex partner. The Bible told me somewhere, ask Jawawan, she's a Christian, I am not. You dare not trust your own. Enough said. All right. Now, my apologies, sir. This is the first time with gonorrhea. That's fine. There is no learning without error, and you are not going to be knowing everything. We are most grateful that you presented. Some persons are going to run away. We are really, really impressed. We're happy to have you. All right. So that was good presentation there on gonorrhea. Just to add, being that it's not written there, and I'll say it again, gonorrhea, one of the signs of gonorrhea is that you are going to have a pussy discharge coming from the penis. And if it persists, you are going to have pain. And it could become even more viscous, so to speak, that there is real problem in passing the urine. Now, if you're having gonorrhea, some capsule usually don't help. It is usually the penicillin. The doctor will ask you to bend over and stick you, and that should treat with the gonorrhea. But you want to ensure that you are having a healthy sex life so that you are not exposed. Be honest with yourself and know yourself, know what you should feel and what you should not feel. And if you feel that which you shouldn't feel, go and check a doctor. All should be fine. All right? The doctor will help you. The doctor won't embarrass you. The doctor will tell you that, okay, I can treat this, or you should do this, or you should do that. Now, if gonorrhea go untreated, it could have dire consequences. It could, of course, lead to sterility, and it could, depending on how grave it is, it could cost your life because it's going to compromise your immune system. It's going to compromise your health. All right? We are most grateful. Is a male, not it's a male, is a male. I'm not too sure what you're saying there, my friend. Please tell. Oh, so YNWA is a male and not a female. Is that what I should understand? And if so, if that's what it is, I am so sorry. All right, great. Now, there's something I said earlier in the show. I said that gonorrhea is a zoonosis, and it is pretty often that we're seeing dogs with gonorrhea. All right, great. I'm very sorry. I'll always remember that. I am even more impressed now because our boys are usually hiding behind the girls, and you came out first to present. You could have just gone without telling us, We're really grateful. Thank you very much for the presentation. We're sorry that you have to leave so early. All right. Thanks much. See you later. That was great presentation. So zoonosis means that you could catch gonorrhea from a dog. Yeah. So you have to be careful. You don't want to have your pets all over the place that you are, right? More so if it's what in Jamaica we call a mongrel that is all over the place doing all sorts of stuff. You really don't want to have that animal in your close space. And it's always recommended that you get the animal all checked by your vet, because what we refer to as zoonosis, those diseases that are transferred from animal to man, it is a real possibility if your animal is not checked every now and then. All right, great. So all right, great. And we want to have you back. Make sure that you subscribe. We really want to see you again. We're going to be on here on Sunday. We're going to be having two shows on Sunday. Sunday about midday, I'll send the thumbnail. We're going to be having the author of Meditate. He's going to be giving us some guideline to prepare for exam, being that he has walked this road already. Pretty accomplished writer, pretty accomplished human being, lawyer, air traffic controller. He's going to be with us on Sunday. We'll have a little interview with him. You can ask him about him studying in the cemetery, what it was like, and with the bottle lamp and all of those stuff. You could talk to him. So we're going to have a session on that in sometime midday, and then our regular show comes up at 5:05, where we are going to be diving into pollution, providing that we complete. Well, we have some more time left here, providing that we complete the sexually transmitted disease today. So Sunday, we have two shows on Sunday. One early, and then we have the class. So the early show is not about teaching, it's about the interview, preparing for exam, dealing with exam stress. We have to deal with that. And meditate comes in pretty handy for you preparing for exam. We took that in consideration, so we're bringing on somebody on Sunday to assist us with that and assist you as well. So bring on your friends and come ready to ask the question. Ask them about the landing on the plane, ask them about the studying, ask them about how you become an air traffic controller, ask them about how you become a lawyer, ask them about all those stuff. It's career, right? So that is two career, air traffic controller, a lawyer. Yeah, ask about those stuff, all right? Great. All right, so we just go back now. We took that there from my friend NYNWA, and now we're going to be going into particulates. We spoke about nicotine, we spoke about tar, we spoke about carbon monoxide, but the one that we really don't talk about much is particulate, and in some cases we talk about volatile VOCs. All right, so the particulate, these are pretty much like solids from the smoke that we spoke about earlier when we spoke about the white cloth. So the particulate, they could also lead to bronchitis, they could also lead to emphysema, and what we call, I think we call it film or something like that. It's like a thin mucus accumulation. The particulates could also cause that. So we have to be cognizant getting into the exam, more so the bio student. Though this is big on the HSB top syllabus, it's also big on biology. You need to know that the most important thing you need to know about cigarette is about what the tar does, what carbon monoxide does, what the particulates do, and of course you want to know about, what else did I say? Tar, particulates, carbon monoxide, and nicotine. All right, you want to be able to treat with that. Now that takes us pretty much to our presentation. It's presentation time. Jawawan, are you still with us? Jawawan, are you still with us? All right, so we are going to now be taking our presenter on syphilis. Great. So who comes up with syphilis now, Jawawan? Who will come up with syphilis now? Melbourne, great. We're going to be having Melbourne now for syphilis, and I'm going to give Sims some work. Sims, I want you to go to YouTube and look for a video on the effects of cigarette smoking, and you are going to paste the link in the comment. When it comes into the comment, I will have to release it. Once you paste it, I will release it. All right, so you are going to look for a video on the effects of cigarette smoking and paste the link, copy the link and paste it in the chat here. I will release it so that everybody will have access to it. All right, Melbourne, are you with us still? Melbourne, are you with us still? Melbourne, are you with us still? All right, so if Melbourne is not here with us, okay, great. So go right ahead with your presentation, Melbourne. We're here to help you. You need not be afraid. And as Melbourne prepares her presentation, I am going to ask, oh, great, Caribbean woman can cook. I want you to find a video on YouTube on gonorrhea. And you are going to paste it in the link here. When it gets here, I will release it. Once I see you paste it, see your name come up, I will release it so everyone can see it. So it's a very interactive session. We're going to ask everybody to take part. All right, great, good evening and welcome to the show. Please be reminded to like, share, and of course, subscribe. And ensure that you enjoy our many past papers for both biology and HSB. We have all the labs online as well. All you need to do is to click that blue icon there that says CSET Biology TCP, and it will take you to back end where we have several videos. All right, are you ready for us, Melbourne? Are you ready for us, Melbourne? So while Melbourne get ready to come, I am somewhat timid when it comes to herpes. All right, great. Oh, so the causative agent here of syphilis Melbourne, just one bit before you go. Can you tell us if syphilis is caused by a bacteria or bacterium, or is it caused by a virus? Is it bacteria or virus? Because usually the exam doesn't ask for the fancy names, but we like the fancy names. All right, so for the persons who are relying on you, or anybody could support her. If you want to assist her, Melbourne, Brianna, somebody, Brianna, tell us if syphilis is caused by bacteria or is it caused by virus? All right, great. So there we go. So when we ask about causative agent, even if you give the name, very good. Even if you are given the fancy name, remember the 5 pathogenic diseases. All right, the 5 causative agents. So you need to make mention, is it a worm? Is it a virus? Is it a fungus? Is it bacterium? You have to say that. Thank you very much, Melbourne. Let's continue. It is acquired through sexual contact with an infected person. All right, so we are not saying that if someone doesn't have the disease and you are supposed to have sex with them, that you'd catch the disease. That's not what we're saying. The person must be infected. The difference is singular versus plural. The difference is singular versus plural. All right, so if you hear me say bacteria, bacterium, it's singular, plural. All right, great. And you probably need to check my video that looks at pathogen. It's the first part of the syllabus. I did address that. No, don't say one is singular. I was waiting for somebody to take on that. I am very deliberate. Don't say one for the exam. Identify which is singular and which is plural. Is it bacteria plural or is it bacterium singular? All right, you have to say that to help Grant. All right, continue for me, Melbourne. Continue. You're not finished. We are waiting on you, you know. I'm sorry to interrupt your presentation. All right, go right ahead. It's a bacterial infection. So we have looked at gonorrhea, and we know that gonorrhea is a bacterial infection. And because it is a bacterial infection, we can use antibiotic to treat it. Nothing but antibiotic. All right. So usually to treat gonorrhea, we use penicillin. We know that penicillin is from a fungus, right? So this is part of the advances of genetic engineering. All right. Brianna Melbourne continues. The cure, treatment, and control. So being that you do that, then I will have to explain that. So bacterium is singular. Very good. All right. Cure, treatment, and control. There is no cure for syphilis, but there is no cure for syphilis, but it is easy to cure in the early stage using penicillin. There is no cure. So if it get really bad, you are going to be having some challenge, real challenge. But in the early stage, like all STIs, if you go and get it all treated, you could get it under real control in the early stages. Penicillin or antibiotic using a condom um, and abstinence. The same thing for gonorrhea. If you use a condom, then you should be fine. All right. But you want to ensure that you're staying away from uh, infected persons. You want to ensure that you are practicing a healthy sexual lifestyle. And I do hope that I'm talking to adults. I am not here asking persons or suggesting that anybody should go and have sex. That is not what I'm saying, because I do know that we have some kids in the room. So I'm not saying that. But it's very important that you learn, so that when you get there, if you ever get there, you understand the do's and, of course, the don'ts. Let's continue. What are the signs and symptoms? You didn't touch that. We want to see that. All right, so we are waiting on signs, symptoms. Oh, and this sign and symptom is very important, because they provide a good guide, or could pretty much inform you whether or not you are suffering from the disease. I know that when we have disease classes, what usually happens is that persons automatically start feeling that, wonder if I have this, wonder if I, I know that we tend to have that anxiety effect when we do disease. Persons start getting a little timid and that type of thing. But no need to worry. So we continue to wait on Melbourne. And after Melbourne, could you just tell us, Jawawan, who is going to come up next? After Melbourne, who we're going to be having next, so that that person can be prepared for the presentation. All right, so we are almost out of time, but I'm going to try to see if we can cover. We really want to cover sexually transmitted disease today, because we want to up on into pollution for Sunday's class. We really want to look at pollution for Sunday's class. So we want to push it to see how much we can complete today. If we have to take AIDS on Sunday, that's fine, but we want to see how much we can go. All right. Are you still with us, Melbourne? Yes or no? It's fine. We know that the internet service is sometimes a little crappy, so we want to make sure that you are there and we're not waiting in vain. Gregory, are you ready with your presentation? Yes or no? It's fine. Gregory, are you with us? Gregory, are you with us? So you would have seen on screen, okay, there's somebody helping her. All right, great. So the signs, and we're looking at signs and symptoms of syphilis. It starts with a painless sore on the mouth, rectum, genital area. Buds, what are we talking about? Buds, what are we talking about? All right, just hold on a bit. Buds, I'm not too sure what we're talking about there. All right, so let me see what. All right, so Gregory is saying that venereal disease is a contagious disease, such as gonorrhea or syphilis, that is typically acquired in sexual intercourse. So, if not venereal disease, what other name do we use? Because you're saying that this is contagious. Can a sexually transmitted disease not be contagious? Remember, when we started out, we spoke about non-venereal disease. So explain to us what non-venereal mean, and you probably want to give us examples of venereal disease versus non-venereal disease. That would better help us to understand what you have said just now, Gregory. All right, and I'm sure you want to have a better understanding of it as well. But great, that was a great attempt. All right, that's fine. That's why we're here. We're here, and remember, you can use Google to get your information, or somebody else in the room could help you. So if you want help, you could just ask, can somebody help me? And that's fine. All right, this room is a room that we share. It is a collaborative effort. It should be student-centered, but you know, we do a little lecture here and there. But of course, you should be finding a lot of the information for yourself and owning the information while I assist. Welcome to the show, official Zena. Please be reminded to like, share, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that notification bell and select all so that you will always know when we're having a show or when we have a post. Felix, symptoms of syphilis are swelling of the lymph node. So usually once you have any foreign invader, you are going to have swelling of the lymph node. But I am looking for something like hard red ulcer. Some hard red ulcer, and then sometimes there are a little penis, or one might say we could have a rash, and syphilis could also lead to brain damage, and syphilis could also lead to death. All right, so we have these hard sores. They're hard, and they tend not to be so painful, and one might say that they are painless, and the syphilis could cause some rash, could cause brain damage, and could of course cause death. All right, so Felix, symptoms of syphilis there. Felix is, all right, that's fine. Jawawan, cystic and genital herpes are, all right, so cystics and genital herpes are non-venereal disease. So venereal disease are contagious disease. So what are non-venereal diseases? What are non-venereal diseases, Jawawan? I'm putting you on the spot. Okay, buds. Gregory, venereal disease is also called sexually transmitted disease, STI. So what are non-venereal disease? We want to get that out of the way this evening. All right, so if the disease happens to become chronic, Felix, then those are some things that are likely to happen. You could, of course, have mild fever and fatigue, as with any disease. Once you have a foreign organism, the body is going to raise its temperature to see if it can get rid of the disease. So as a result, you will have some amount of fever. No, Jawawan, that is not what I want. I want a standing or an endowing understanding without giving me examples of venereal and non-venereal disease. What should I understand when I see venereal disease versus when I see non-venereal disease? What should I understand? If I were supposed to write on an exam paper, explain venereal disease, or distinguish between venereal and non-venereal disease. I'd love to have something concrete that I can write on that exam paper. Now the class is open. Anyone can answer to that. All right. So we know that examples of venereal disease would include gonorrhea and syphilis. We also got examples of non-venereal disease. So now we want working definitions for these. Those who can find it on Google, go get it, come back and let us see if we can have something better that everyone can leave here today understanding what's the difference, if there's a difference. Example of venereal disease, but I'm getting examples, but what it is. Guys, what it is. So venereal disease can only be transmitted through sexual intercourse. Continue. This is open. Everybody, I want everybody to challenge this now. I want to know what is the difference between venereal disease and non-venereal disease. All right, let me see what you have. All right, so the places are lit. All right, so I have to release some of these. Jawa one, venereal disease can only, all right, so I'm getting some warning from YouTube, can only be passed from one person to another during sexual intercourse. And here, Macmillan, sexually, message L for review, message L for Phillips is saying a disease typically contracted by sexual intercourse with a person already infected. I suspect that is the venereal disease. So let us look at the non-venereal disease. Non-venereal disease are divided into contagious and non-contagious skin disease that have some that sometimes differ, that sometimes different and unexplained from or contracted during sexual. That's a lot, Zena. Gonorrhea and syphilis are example of venereal disease because they are caught by sexual contact, should it be, with an infected person. So I think we have a good hold on venereal disease, but we don't have a good grasp of non-venereal disease. So let us go for non-venereal disease to see if we can get that all treated with properly. All right, we have a good hold of that. How are we doing? This one is giving you a little trouble. No one understands non-venereal disease. Your book only. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. And this is like very, very important because oftentimes we leave our learning up to the book. And if it is not in the book, it is not something that we need to know. but we need to go a little bit beyond. So I'm going to stretch you this evening, guys. I want you to go a little beyond, and I want you to come back with the answer. What is non-venereal disease? What is meant by non-venereal disease? Come on, guys. It is class, it's exam. So guess what? We're going to be pushing you. So non-venereal disease are contracted via sexual, are not contracted by sexual intercourse. Interesting. My book only has that. As does mine. All right. You start to blame the book now. Come on, guys, don't blame the book. Remember, there are many sources from which you can acquire the information. So this class might be a good class for you because now you're learning that it is not always all printed in the book. As in the case when we look at Down syndrome, there's just one Down syndrome that is captured in the book. But you remember when I gave you that multiple choice, when I answered that multiple choice question, if Down syndrome can be inherited, I named two other type of Down syndrome other than trisomy. But the only one that is in your book is trisomy 21. So sometimes we have to stretch a little bit outside of the book, guys. Don't worry yourself, we're going to get it right. Oh my students are giving up. Don't give up. I'm going to give you another 2 minutes to tell me what it is. Don't give up. Don't give up. Search anywhere you can find. You can search YouTube. You can search Google. The information is out there. Stop, I said. How are we doing? Okay, so you are saying that non-venereal disease can be caught in other ways than having sex, I think. It's basically giving me the same. All right, let me see what's happening down here. Oh, everybody's comfortable with venereal disease, you know, but we're not comfortable with non-venereal disease. That is where we are. So, no, it's not time to answer yet, you know. It's not time for me to answer. It is time for you guys to tell me that I am sure that that is the answer. It is time for you guys to tell what I have read or listened to. This is the answer. And we are going to hang up on this one because I really want you to get it. All right, so now that you are wondering if that is the answer or not the answer, what I want you to do is to look at the type of disease and how they are acquired. Ready again? Ready again? All right, I'm not going to give you any more trouble. Non-venereal disease are contagious disease that are not contracted from sexual intercourse. Non-venereal. So now we can break it in two. So let me help you. So now go and find the meaning of non, and then find the meaning of venereal. And then you will understand what it means. Anybody try that? Are caused by fungi and bacteria. But the truth is, Francis, Natisha, if you say that, Are you suggesting that venereal disease, they are not caused by bacteria? So we need to get back to what is venereal. Now, if you understand what is venereal and you attach to none, then it's the reverse. All right? Great. I'll allow you to work on that one, work on that one. I'll allow you to work on that one, work on that one. All right, great. Jawawan, where are we with the presentation? Don't worry yourself, you'll get it. But I don't want any examples. I don't want any examples. I want the distinction. I don't want any examples. I want the distinction. All right. So where are we with the presentation? I don't want to run too far. Where are we with the presentation? Jawawan, who goes next? No, don't give up. Don't give up. That's what's going to keep the fire burning. Where are we with the presentation? Who's the other person, Jawawan? Let's go with the presentation. You get it before you leave. Jawawan, next presenter. All right, Williams, go right ahead. All right, when we get to herpes and cystics, we will have a better understanding. You remember sometime in the show when I said herpes, I am really, really scared of that thing? All right, great. Okay, and she's having a little problem with non-venereal. All right, so being that that is a big problem, Zena, we're having presentation today on STI. So what we did at the start of the show, a number of persons were given some topics to. All the new persons were given topics, and they are doing awesome so far. I think everybody will be doing well. So that's what we're doing now. We're taking the presentation. But this is like class where I'm asking students to do research with that because I want students to understand that there's information out there that is not in the textbook. One, and I want students to understand that sometimes reading the textbook things are not explicitly stated, but you have to use your little context clue to find the meaning to things. Also, you need to understand that when you see something, it's not written in the book by chance. It is there for you to understand, to learn, because if there's venereal disease and there's non-venereal disease, then it's only fitting that you understand what's the difference and be able to make the distinction. So we're going to take the person that's doing cystic, and having done cystic, we will understand the fact that we've done gonorrhea and syphilis already. Now doing cystic, it will give us a better understanding as to the differences are the difference between venereal and non-venereal disease. Go right ahead, guys. Presenter. Macmillan, what's the presenting? Oh, Macmillan. I'm not too sure what you're presenting there. The person who's presenting on cystic, you hold the answer for the question that everybody is giving up on. Who's presenting on cystic? Who is presenting on cystic? Could you go right ahead? Or the person who is presenting on herpes, either of these two persons can answer our question or help us to answer the question. What? I said something wrong? All right, venereal diseases are only passed by sexual intercourse. Venereal, they are usually passed by sexual intercourse. When it comes to non-venereal disease, they can be transmitted other than sexual intercourse. All right, so that is pretty much what we're looking for. They can be transmitted by other ways other than sexual intercourse. So, right, so it's not a not. Okay, somebody's supposed to do some presentation now, but just now I gave them some hard tasks to do. They were supposed to distinguish between venereal and non-venereal diseases, and a lot of persons fell down on that. And I think I pushed them a little too hard, and persons are a little tired now. So I just gave them the answer that venereal disease are diseases that are usually transmitted by sexual intercourse, while non-venereal diseases can be transmitted other ways, as is the case with herpes. A person sweating and rubbing onto your skin, you could pretty much contract the herpes. So now we want to hear from the persons who are supposed to present on cystics and herpes. Or you were trying to answer non-venereal. Uh, yeah, but answering non-venereal, what I wanted, it was a simple thing I gave now. Let me ask you though, guys, do you understand the difference now between venereal and non-venereal? Hill, welcome to the show. If you are new, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Everybody here knows everyone, so you being here will soon know you. So don't worry yourself. A lot of persons here are new this evening. Yeah, but fine, Sims. I agree. I agree. But I want you to be sure. So that's pretty much the answer. Okay, that's fine. Yes, that's fine. Great. So now that we understand, I guess you'll never ever forget that I prodded you that long, despite some persons said it, and I wanted other persons to come on board. I wanted to see more persons saying it, but of course that wasn't coming, and the person who said it wasn't even sure. But I'm very happy that we are all on the same wavelength now. So we're not going to be having any presentation on cystic and herpes. We're tired. So if we're tired, we would have cystic herpes and AIDS. Cystic herpes and AIDS. We have those left. So we could leave AIDS for today because AIDS is a really big topic. AIDS is a really big topic that we must cover with precision. Now, cystic and herpes, do we have anybody to cover those this evening? No, I don't understand. Okay, Felix, that's great. All right, Macmillan, could you write Chevanice Grant presenting syphilis? Chevanice Grant, are you here? Yes, we're on the last part of disease. Yes, that's what we're doing now. Not all the diseases, we're looking at sexually transmitted disease. Angel, that's what we're doing, looking at sexually transmitted disease. All right, great. Let's go. Macmillan, just type that distinction there for me for venereal versus non-venereal disease. So persons can leave here being treated by that. All right, so I take it that we're not going to be having any more presentation this evening. If we are not going to be having any more presentation, we have just 7 more minutes left in the show. And with 7 more minutes left in the show, there's not much that we can do than to recap. I do hope that what we had was really, really impacting. We looked at alcohol and we looked at some of the health complications associated with drinking alcohol or becoming an addict. And we looked at alcohol as a drugs and as an acid. What I think that the salient point that we drove home was the fact that alcohol, it starts its absorption pretty much in the stomach. And then we looked at the many ills that are associated with alcohol. And the students actually gave me reasons for drug abuse to include alcohol, which is, of course, a drugs. And they also gave me some social impact of being an addict, some things that could happen or are likely to happen at home if you're consuming alcohol. And then we went over to cigarette smoking, and I did ask some persons to send me some things, but they did not, but that's fine. We'll send them some other time. We looked at cigarette smoke, and we said that cigarette smoke is really a thing to look at when we look at chronic bronchitis. We looked at emphysema as well, and we looked at cardiovascular disease as it is associated with cigarette smoking. We also looked at some components or some derivative from cigarettes. We looked at tar, we looked at particulate, we looked at nicotine, and we looked at carbon monoxide. We said that carbon monoxide is particularly important for cigarette smoking, as it were, and we're going to be looking at it again when we look at pollution. What we said about carbon monoxide is that it affixes itself readily to hemoglobin much more than oxygen can. And as a result, the individual would pretty much, can I say, starve for oxygen, because there's not that ready availability of oxygen because of the carbon monoxide. We also pointed out, and we wanted this to drive this home as a salient point, that nicotine is pretty much responsible for the addiction of cigarette, and the nicotine causes that secretion of adrenaline, which is of course going to cause the increased speed in the cause the heart to beat faster, and also it will also cause the blood vessels to reduce, thus increasing the blood pressure. We also spoke about thrombosis. We also spoke about arteriosclerosis, as is associated with cigarette smoking. So we did touch a lot on cigarette smoking. We did touch a lot on alcohol, and then we came over, and I am really impressed. A lot of students came forward for the first time they're being on the show, male, female, and they presented nicely on sexually transmitted disease. Of course, there's much more for us to learn, but as we go along, we will discuss and we will continue to learn. I encourage us to like, share, and subscribe. And I will break it down for you, because oftentimes where you're in vloggers saying like, share, subscribe, what does that mean? It is like a cliche for a vlogger. But let me just break it down and explain it to you what it means. When you like by clicking that thumbs up, the video will go into your history. It will be saved into your YouTube file, so you don't need to go and search the place to find this information that you need to study from. When you subscribe and click the notification bell, whenever I publish something, it comes directly to you, and you'll never miss one of my publications. Then when you click that blue button down the side there that says CSEC Biology TCP, it takes you to the back end of my channel, and you can watch all my videos. There are many videos there, over 200 and something videos. You can watch those videos. And then there is something else at the bottom. I think it's on this side down there. When you look beside the save button, you will see three little dots. We call them ellipses. If you click on them, it will say open transcript. For those persons who like to have the notes, you can click on that and it will open the transcript, and everything that I would have said, providing that I said it in English, it will be all translated or transcribed there. So you can just copy the notes there and use it as you go along. It also provide a timeline for all the publications that we have. So you can go directly to the point of, or the part of the lesson that you want to go to based on what you're seeing there in the subscript. So at the top there, you will have that white button that gives you a suggested video. Remember that you can use that. And at the end of all my regular uploads, you will find some videos that you can click on, and they will enrich your learning. I do remember that Jawawan, I think I promised Jawawan graph for Sunday, and I'll do everything to make sure that I do a presentation on graph. I'll definitely put that on my bucket list for Sunday. I am very, very happy to be here as usual. And again, I must apologize for being late. But you know my schedule, I'm always in and out and trying to fit you into things. So sometimes I'm late, and I'm very grateful for those persons who stick around and believe in me when I say that I am going to be back. And of course, they were here waiting on me. So I'm most grateful for that. Before I go, sir, as I said before, it's my first time here. Which day you have classes? Great. Please be reminded that Mr. Wilson Live is on a Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 5:05 p.m. However, it is very important for you to subscribe and click the notification bell and select all, because persons would have come to realize now that during the middle of the day I will have I think I have a thing now that I say let's talk CXC, and I'll talk something about CXC or about the subject or about coping with exam, or I might say let's do a marathon and I might just answer exam question, a past paper question. That I will be looking at in the next 2 weeks, answering question 4, 5, and 6 on the exam paper, which in most cases persons are not doing well on those. So we are definitely going to be looking at those. All right. So it has always been my pleasure. Let me make sure I'm reading what everybody wants to ask. Sir, I found food web question, but I'm gonna have to take a picture of it and email to you along with the question for you to help me with. Our food chains are usually nice, so I'll be really, really delighted to help you with that. So, of course, everybody should know my email address. It is extremesolutions@gmail.com. It's in the mail, it's in the chat there, MA. Sorry. It's extremesolution@gmail.com. So that's the email address for those persons who want to send us past papers, send us information. Those persons who want to give us donation, you can also send your information there or the query there, how to get to us. I will assist you with that. All right. All right, great. So that's the email address. No problem. All right, great. So remember, if you never get to the top of the mountain, please show someone the way. It is definitely my pleasure to be here, and I'll be back with you on Sunday. Remember, we're going to be having 2 shows on Sunday, one midday where we're going to be continuity and variation. The last week before exam, we're going to be like pushing continuity and variation. Have you done all the Punnett square, all the inheritance? Have you done all that? Because we have a video for all of that. If you go to my channel, just click on genetics and you'll see all the genetic diagrams that you are supposed to know, and the laws are well outlined in those. So get that out of the way, and then now when we get back, we are going to be looking at trisomy for continuity and variation. We are going to be looking at a little on evolution, and we are going to be looking at natural and artificial selection, and of course, recombinant technology. That also we are going to be treating with that again. So yes, we are going to be touching that. Last week before exam, we are going to be going through that. Okay, so that's fine. The video is on the thing on all those. Go to my channel at the back end. The video is on the back end and all the genetics diagram. It will show you, we have animation there. It will show you how to do both the genetic cross, how to use the Punnett square, and it is fun filled. Remember, when you go there, if you have any problem, just leave a comment below. If you have problem, if it's good, tell us that it is good. If it need work, tell us that it need work. If you have a question, leave it there, and usually we respond. Okay, so again, it has been my pleasure being with you this evening. I really enjoyed the class this evening, and I must say big up the real Jamaican way to those persons who came forward for the first time and did those presentation. I think the room is really, really grateful, and this is the type of camaraderie that we need in order to grow across the Caribbean. Good evening, and thanks for joining.